The distress beacon had been broadcasting for 3 cycles when the first response arrived. Ambassador Vel of the Unified Worlds checked the translation matrix twice before believing what he read on his display screen. Species designation: human. Origin world: Sol 3, locally called Earth. We received your emergency transmission. Help is coming. Vel's secondary heart skipped a beat. Earth was listed in the galactic database as a Class 2 death world, a planet so hostile that most civilized species considered it uninhabitable. The gravity alone was 3 times standard, and the atmospheric composition included toxic oxygen levels that would burn through most respiratory systems. "Sir, are you certain we should accept assistance from primitives?" asked his aide, Nix, whose pale blue skin had turned an alarming shade of gray. "The database indicates they only achieved faster-than-light travel 2 solar rotations ago, Day." Studied the tactical display showing the approaching enemy fleet. The Devourers had already consumed 7 worlds in this sector, leaving nothing but barren rock in their wake. His own fleet consisted of 3 damaged vessels carrying the last, survivors from the colony world of Haven Prime. "We have little choice," Vel replied, watching another red blip appear on the scanner. "Besides, any species that survives on a death world might possess unique advantages." 6 hours later, the human vessels dropped out of hyperspace. Vel stared at the view screen in confusion. The ships looked primitive, angular and brutal where civilized craft were smooth and elegant. They bristled with weapons that seemed almost barbaric in their simplicity. The communication channel crackled to life. "This is Captain Tom aboard the UES Defiance. We understand you folks are in a spot of trouble." The casual tone made Vel's translator struggle with context. In all his diplomatic experience, he had never encountered such informality during a crisis situation. "Captain Tom," Vel began carefully, "we are grateful for your response. However, you should know that the approaching enemy force outnumbers your small fleet significantly. Perhaps you could assist with evacuation instead." A sound came through the speakers that the translator identified as laughter. "Ambassador, evacuation is Plan B. We'd like to try Plan A first, if you don't mind stepping back a bit." Vel was about to protest when his sensor operator called out in alarm. "Sir, the Devourer fleet has arrived. 137 vessels, including 6 dreadnoughts." The human ships moved forward with surprising speed. Vel expected them to unleash their weapons at maximum range, following standard tactical doctrine. Instead, they accelerated directly toward the enemy formation. "What are they doing?" Nix whispered, his voice barely audible. The first human ship, smaller than the others, dove straight into the center of the Devourer formation. Weapons fire erupted from all sides, concentrated on the single vessel, just as its shields began. To fail, the ship exploded, but not from enemy fire. The detonation was unlike anything Vel had ever witnessed. The explosion engulfed 12 Devourer vessels, reducing them to expanding clouds of debris. The shockwave disrupted the tight enemy formation, sending several ships tumbling out of control. "Ramming attack," the sensor operator reported unnecessarily. They deliberately destroyed their own ship. Before Vel could process this information fully, the remaining human vessels opened fire. Their weapons were crude, but devastatingly effective. Instead of the precise energy beams favored by civilized races, they hurled physical projectiles at incredible velocities. The kinetic impacts punched through Devourer shields as if they were paper. More disturbing was their tactical approach. Where civilized warfare involved careful positioning and methodical exchanges of fire, the humans fought with terrifying aggression. They rammed damaged enemy ships, used their own vessels as shields to protect others, and seemed utterly indifferent to personal survival. "Captain Tom," Vel called over the communication channel, "your losses are too heavy. Please withdraw while you still can." "Negative, Ambassador," came the reply, though Tom's ship was clearly taking damage. "We don't leave people behind. Besides, we're just getting warmed up." A new group of human vessels appeared on the sensors. These were even more primitive-looking, with external weapon mounts and hull configurations that defied basic engineering principles. Yet they fought with the same suicidal bravery as the first group. The tide of battle began to turn. The Devourers, accustomed to facing enemies who valued their own lives, seemed unprepared for opponents who treated death as merely another tactical option. Human ships would sacrifice themselves without hesitation to create openings for their companions. One human vessel, its hull breached and atmosphere venting, used its last functional thruster to ram a Devourer dreadnought. The impact knocked the massive enemy ship into the path of incoming fire, where it was quickly destroyed by its own allies. "Their coordination is impossible," Nix observed, watching the tactical display. "No central command could manage such complex maneuvers." Vel realized the truth. The humans weren't following orders from a distant admiral. Each ship captain was making independent decisions, yet they moved together like a pack of predators. They had evolved cooperation as a survival trait on their harsh world. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the Devourer fleet had been completely destroyed. Of the original 32 human vessels, only 9 remained functional. Several others drifted powerless but intact, their crews working frantically to restore basic systems. Captain Tom's voice came through the speakers. Again, though his ship showed massive hull damage. "Ambassador, the area is secure. Do you folks need medical assistance or supplies?" Vel stared at the debris field that had once been an unstoppable enemy fleet. "Captain, we must ask, why did your people sacrifice so much for strangers?" Pause lasted several seconds. When Tom spoke again, his casual tone had been replaced by something deeper. "Where we come from, Ambassador, the strong protect the weak. It's not complicated." Later, as human rescue ships moved among the wreckage searching for survivors, Vel updated the galactic database. Next to Earth's entry, he added a new classification: Deathworld inhabitants. Approach with respect. Do not underestimate their willingness to help others, regardless of cost. His aide Nix looked over the report. "Sir, should we warn other species about their aggressive nature?" Vel considered the question while watching human medics working to save wounded Devourer prisoners, the same beings who had tried to exterminate them hours before. No, he decided. Let them discover for themselves what Deathworlders are truly capable of. The galaxy could use more like them. As the human fleet prepared to escort the refugee ships to safety, Vel realized that first contact had changed more than just military tactics. The universe had gained unlikely guardians, beings who had learned that survival sometimes meant protecting others, even at the ultimate cost. The distress beacon fell silent, its purpose fulfilled by creatures the galaxy had dismissed as primitive. In the depths of space, new legends were being born.